Welcome everybody to the scouting special portion of today's episode. We will get on to the Lions episode or game after we go through this, but we need to talk a bit about the prospects here as we're in week 10. We have to choose some special players to focus on for week 11. So let's talk a little bit about this draft, and primarily the best spot to be drafting in this draft is on defense. The defensive players seem to be really legit, and there's fairly deep positions that you could go after, and for us, they're falling very well to what our needs are. So we need help on the defensive line. I know we have built a pretty good defensive line currently. We have Graves and Hunter as the edge rushers, with Watt and Michael Pierce as the DTs. However, Pierce is continually regressing every year. Watt will most likely retire as he's like 35 or 36. Graves, we would like him to be an interior pass rusher, move back to DT. Hunter, getting a bit older, but he's still fantastic. So after this season, I suspect we will only have 2 of 4 starters, which means we would need to find some new guys. And luckily for us, the pass rush in this draft is insane. We're looking here at just my favorites for left end, and there is 5 first rounders at left end. There's another at right end, and there's even a couple guys at DT who you can move out to play edge rush as well. So a lot of talent that we need to go after. There's also some guys at linebacker who are edge rushers. So we'll try to go through this as quickly as possible, talk a little bit about every position, but primarily focus on the big ones. So edge rush, DTs, we need someone who can rush the passer on the outside, and we need a DT who can stuff the run. So let's run through these guys as quickly as possible here, starting with Donald Staley, who's a top 5 projected, 6'2", 265, 22 years old, out of Temple. From a physical standpoint, really good. A lot of speed, a lot of agility, acceleration, also has some strength, and you see that come through here, where he has A, finesse moves, only D, power moves. We don't know about block shedding, but could definitely provide a lot of finesse rush right out the get-go, so could be a day 1 starter. Past him, we have Connor Cunningham, a Stanford man, and you're going to see throughout talking about this draft class, I really wish we had this for our California-only rebuild, as a lot of these guys who are really good happen to play at a school from California. But Connor Cunningham from Stanford, 6'3", 292, 21 years old. He is a run stopper. And physical standpoint, very similar to the last guy, really good agility. I mean, just a really good athlete. Also provides some strength. From his skill standpoint, A, play rec, B, block shedding, B, pursuit. He does have A, tackle as well. So he's a smart guy who can provide some block shedding. We can move him possibly down to DT. We don't know what the power moves are, so he could just be a well-rounded power guy for us in the middle, very similarly to Graves, who happened to play at USC. The third guy on the board is Kevin Hatchett, 6'4", 274, 21 years old, out of Arizona State. He is a power rusher, and it's slightly confusing because he doesn't provide much strength, only decent to solid, but besides that, pretty good athlete. From a skill standpoint though, A, power moves, A, pursuit, B, block shedding, and B, play rec. He has C, hit power and impact block, and F, stamina, but every lineman is going to have F stamina for the most part. But he's a balanced guy who could set the edge for us. So A, power moves, B, block shedding, that's day 1 starting caliber material right there. Plus he's 21 years old, really good Pac-12 guy. I love watching Pac-12, and could be a possible guy we could go after. I'm pretty sure we have 2 first-round picks, so definitely an option, I believe, for us to get any of these guys, minus probably the top 5. Next up is Jaron Bradley here, 6'3", 266, 22 years old, out of Louisville. Again, very similar to a lot of these guys. Freak athlete with some strength. Skill standpoint, A, finesse moves, A, tackle, B, play rec, all really good. D, power moves, F, hit power. We don't need a end who's going to lay the wood just get the secure tackle, get the sacks, and help out stopping the run if you can. We don't know about the block shedding, but a lot of A's you're going to see with these top edge rushers. Next up, another Stanford guy. He's a speed rusher in Preston Knowles, 6'3", 251, 23 years old, so on the older side. Still though, athlete with some strength. Skill set, you're going to see a little bit of a step down here. There's not any A's, but you have B awareness, B finesse, B pursuit, stamina, tackle, B's. Block shedding is a C, injuries F, but I feel like a lot of injuries are F for linemen, which is weird, but stamina looks solid, so should be fine. Not the top end, not the top end caliber talent, but still pretty good talent. Now dipping down to the second to third round projected, you have Harvey Levins, 6'3", 251, 23 years old, out of Notre Dame. Physicals, basically the same thing. Really good athlete, however, he struggles with change of direction, but does have some strength to him. His skill set does have B awareness and B finesse. Second to third round, you could start maybe thinking about this kind of talent. Third round, I would definitely see it fit. And in the day 3 category, we have Bobby Gaddis, 6'3", 269, 23 years old, out of Memphis. And once again, athlete, doesn't provide much strength here, with only decent to solid. His skill set, however, very much displays that. B finesse moves, B impact blocking, only C hit power, and then D block shedding and power moves. Strictly a depth player, but we need depth guys on the front as well. And then over on the right hand side, we have 3 other guys we can consider as well. Ben Fisher is a projected top 5, 6'1", 258, 21 years old, out of Georgia. As we know, Georgia just killed the first round of our last draft. 5 players taken just from their defense, could have been 6. Physicals, it's the same story here. Athlete with some strength, A finesse moves, A injury. Does have D power moves, so you're hoping there's some block shedding to go along with the A power moves, but still really good. Do we think we'll be in a spot to take him? No, but still really good player. In the second to third, you're looking at Jerry Hurst here, who's 6'2", 250, 22 years old, out of Michigan. Physical standpoint, same thing. Skills, B finesse moves, and then kind of takes a step down from there. C tackle, C pursuit, D power moves, and F hit power. Don't know about the block shedding, but still, you're starting to go down towards that second to third round, so you're not going to see as many top end talent, but definitely could progress into a starting role in the future with good development. And then in the third to fourth round, another California guy, Cal to be specific, you have Daniel Booker, 6'6", 265, 22 years old. Physical standpoint, not as much of an athlete, but still, he's quick. Doesn't change direction very well or jump that high, doesn't have as much strength, but he's a quick dude who we could use to try to set the edge. Surprisingly though, B power moves, don't know if finesse moves could also be pretty high, but as a 4th round pick, depth guy, you could definitely consider Booker. And then when you look at the DTs, they're really split on where you could play them. I have 5 total on the board. We'll start with Ezekiel Hendricks. And Hendricks is 6'4", 310, 22 years old, out of Wisconsin. His physicals, really good. Has some speed. He has the change of direction if you need that. And he's also pretty strong. When you look at his attributes here, A play rec, B awareness. So he's a smart guy who provides both run stopping and power moves, with both of those being B. He does have C finesse, so not too far behind. Can do it every now and then, but primarily he is just a big, strong guy you're going to put in the middle, which is exactly what we're looking for. However, he's only 310. He would be replacing a guy who's like 340, but unfortunately there's not that, you rarely find that heavy of guys in the draft. But as a 1 to 2 round projected, solid guy to look at. Another round 1 to 2 is Emmett Lambert, 6'4", 298, 23 years old, out of Wake Forest. Now, he doesn't provide a whole lot of speed, but he could get to his top end speed pretty quickly, and he does have some strength. As for his attributes, A, play recognition, A, power moves. So I would think with him, he could be a hybrid type player, very similar to how we're using Graves, who's played DT and edge Unfortunately, Lambert doesn't seem to have as much speed, so that might limit that, but he could be a really good interior pass rusher if we decide to keep Graves on the outside. Lamar Marion is a 2 to 3 round guy, 6'3", 288, 23 years old out of Utah. Now he does have the strength and the athleticism as well. And being a lighter weight, he could play both interior and on the outside. B awareness, so is pretty smart. A finesse moves, does only have C block shedding, so he's one I would lean more towards playing on the outside. Bryce Steffens is the biggest guy that we could possibly draft. He's 6'6", 317, 22 years old out of Toledo. Now with him, he is just a big, strong dude. Not a whole lot of speed, can get to his top end speed pretty quickly, but that's just because there's not a whole lot of speed there. Skill wise, we don't know a whole lot about him. He would be a great guy to possibly take a deep dive into next week in week 11. We do know C awareness, D finesse, but he does have B impact, B tackle, and A injury. Intriguing guy, I would like to know more. And the last listed defensive lineman is Antoine Atkinson, 6'1", 302, 23 years old out of North Carolina. Keep in mind, he is a day 3 talent. Physicals, he has speed, he has strength. Don't ask him to change direction very quickly, not going to happen. Skill set though, A power moves. As a day 3, that's fine, I don't care about the rest. He struggles to tackle, he struggles to hit people hard. He has some finesse moves, he's not going to pursue very well, but he could get there through, or he could just get through the line pretty quickly, which helps because he's not that fast. But a day 3 guy, someone you could definitely develop. The next position that I think is insane in this draft is at corner. Now, I'm starting to think a little differently about how I view these corners. As you can see, all of these guys 100% scouted, and we're only at week 10. So I know everything there is to know about every single corner, and that's really helping me decipher who are the good corners in Madden 22. So we will start with Thad Belton. He's a man-to-man corner, 6'2", 180 pounds, 21 years old out of North Dakota State. His frame is very similar to that of a corner who just left us in this series in Dantzler. Tall, just kind of lanky a little bit. Physicals, though, really good. Has speed, change direction, agility, acceleration, also has strength. And then when we look at his skills, B man coverage, fantastic. A press, A block shedding, amazing. C zone, so he is lacking a little bit. But he's a smart guy who could help force some turnovers and can press at the line, which is exactly what I look for in a corner. And of course, we've spent the entire series trying to get younger at that position and have just continually signed older guys every year as we just haven't been able to draft someone. We do have 2 first-round picks, however, this year, so this could be the year. And Thad Belton looks insane, and he's not even the number 1 corner that's on the overall board. The overall number 1 would be Manny Perry, who's actually more of a round 1 to 2. So Belton, to me, definitely becomes the number 1 guy, despite Perry going up 1 and Belton going down 1. Next up is Patrick Pointer, who's 6'1", 200 pounds, 22 years old out of Clemson. His physicals, very similar to the previous, just good around the board, just good. Skill set, doesn't provide really much of any man coverage. He's primarily just a zone guy with B zone, B press. Does have A block shedding, C tackle. So, and A hit power and A injury. So with him, I'm thinking a possible slot guy. We would like better man coverage. I prefer the first guy, Belton, over Pointer, but still a really good corner. Next up is J.R. Horn. He's 6 foot, 197, 21 years old out of BYU. He was projected to be around 1 to 2, but his talent is definitely around 1. And this is why I've started to kind of change the way I've been thinking about corners. When you look at his physical standpoint, insane. Just across the board, insane. His skill set, he moved up from around 1 to 2 to a round 1. And his cover skills are C's. C man, C press, C zone. He does have A stamina and A tackle, but primarily all of the cornerback stats here are C's, which tells me that if a guy has B or even A, those guys are going to be really good. I know each of like the number or the letters you see here are due to the draft, so they could also just be there's not a whole lot of top end guys. There are definitely really good guys in certain categories, but around one will have C's. I still think when I've looked at the previous drafts, corners that I've liked but just didn't think were quite there, but still had high overalls, they had these C's. So I think C's for corners aren't as off-putting as they might be for other positions. And because of that, there's guys like Nick Brockers here, who is a projected day 3, more of a round 3 to 4, who's 6 foot, 192, 22 years old out of Miami. Guys like him are making my board because I'm just changing the way that I'm thinking about him. Now he's just speed, doesn't provide much strength, which kind of shows. Only C press, does have C zone, D man, but does have B block shedding, B catching, and A tackled. So to me, this is a slot corner you can develop. And he's fairly young, I'm going to say 22 years old. So guys like him are making my board. If I have extra picks in the day 3 category and he's still there, you'd pick him up. Of course, there are still some other higher up guys to consider. Christian Cage here, a round 1 to 2, both projected and talent. He's a man-to-man guy, 6'1", 182, 22 years old. So again, very similar to Dantzler in physique. Really good athlete still. Skill set, B man, B press, C zone. So it's fitting, more of the man coverage press corner that I like to utilize. He is not much of a slot guy. He is an outside guy with block shedding and tackling both being C's. Can get better. There are guys better than Cage here, but still a really good corner you could try to build around. Now one guy that did move up who I am very intrigued by is Amari Wilcox. 6'3", 184, so very tall. Still doesn't have a lot of weight behind him. He is 23 years old out of Virginia Tech. He was around 1 to 2 projected, actually around 1 talent, and pretty good physicals across the board. Not great at jumping, but he is 6'3", so doesn't have to jump as far. Now with him, you have B, man coverage, B press, C zone. So cover skills, pretty good, fitting kind of what I'm looking for. However, he has B awareness, block shedding, and A tackle. He is a slot corner who is 6'3". You could put him over tight ends, you could put him over receivers, as from the physical standpoint, he has solid to good speed, might be a little slow, but still has some speed, and acceleration is great to elite. So a great guy you can consider building as a slot corner. And of course, nickel corners in the NFL now are essential. In the later rounds here, we have Devontae Roberts, who was projected 3 to 4, actually looks more like a 2 to 3. He is 5'10", 204, 21 years old out of NC State. Physicals, not extremely fast, but he's strong and has some agility. And when I look at the skills here, I see I see C for man coverage and D for zone coverage with B press. He does possess a little bit of tackling ability with C block shedding and C tackle. He could catch the ball, B, hit power, also a C. He seems like someone who could be a hybrid safety, and we do need backup safeties. I'm thinking free, perhaps, with his height being a little low, and he doesn't have major hit power or tackling, but could be a hybrid safety perhaps for us. In the day 3 category, I found a guy who actually is a talent of 2 to 3, and that is George Springs. He's 5'10", 199, 23 years old out of Oklahoma, and physicals, he's fast. Doesn't have much strength, but he is fast, he could run, and that's really about it. Cover-wise, definitely could use some work with C man coverage and D zone, but he does have B press, and press is one of the hardest things to kind of build up, and he does have B block shedding and B tackle. So it's a guy you could develop to, again, be a slot corner. And lastly, for corners, I found a potential undrafted who's actually around 3 to 4. He is a bit small, 5'9", 186, 23 years old, also out of Oklahoma. That is Lance Crutchfield, and again, has speed, not much strength, and it was intriguing, again, a developmental slot corner, with the coverage not being that great, D-man and zone, but he does have B press, B block shedding, and B tackle, so an intriguing guy to consider, especially if it's a 7th round pick or potentially even picking him up after the draft. Lance Crutchfield is interesting. Over on offense, however, we do have a group that we need to look at, and that's the offensive line. There are potentially 2 guys on our starting roster that we need to replace that actually are starters, and that very well could be Christian Dantzler. Not that he hasn't played well, but it's playing is his issue. He's injured frequently, consistently, missing about half the year the last 2 years. So, and he's in a contract season. So do we sign him? Do we try to bring someone else in? There's also DeCastro at guard, who was one of our best linemen for his first year here. Regressed a little bit, still pretty good, regressed again, and will continue to regress if not retire. So he is the primary worry. So we need to replace basically at least one offensive lineman. We have a guy on roster who we could potentially use, but he's not a very well balanced guy, and DeCastro is very much a balanced offensive lineman. So we'll take a quick look at some of these guys, starting with another California guy, and Conrad Hawkins. He is 6'5", 316, 23 years old, out of UCLA. He is listed at left tackle. Physical standpoint, really good, just across the board, has speed, athleticism, and a bit of strength. Skill set, we have A awareness, A impact blocking, B pass block, B run block power. So to me, I'm thinking he is a power blocker, which is good because that is our scheme. Over at the guard spot, left guard to be specific, we have 3 potential guys, first being Max Lamb, who is 6'6", 330, 22 years old, out of Boston College. His physicals are primarily just strength and change of direction. That is about all Max can do. He does have B awareness with A lead block and A run block power, C run block finesse, and impact block. So interesting. I don't know if I would say round 1, potentially a very early round 2 with some of those C's. Also at left guard is Bryson Hooks, 6'6", 342, one of the biggest guys available, 21 years old, out of Michigan State. And he's actually fairly well balanced, actually has some speed, agility, as well as strength, especially at 341, 342, and awareness, B, impact, A, lead block, B. However, pass block finesse is an F, which is very concerning. Definitely not seeing a round 1. Would look to see if he drops. And the final left guard here is Justin Nickerson. He is a power guy, which is our scheme fit, 6'5", 330, 22 years old, out of TCU. And again, pretty well balanced, has speed, acceleration, agility, strength, and a little bit of speed. I think, did I say speed? Maybe I did. And pretty much B's across the board here with awareness, run block power, lead block, pass block, and stamina all being B's. Pass block power is a C. So intriguing for sure. Don't know about a round 1, especially with the talent over on the defensive line in round 1. So this is where I start to think, okay, maybe we need to take a look at centers, as they continually have impressed me in every single draft. So we have 2 available, one being Gabe Wilds, who I am saying is the brother of our rookie lineman Wilds. Gabe Wilds, 6'5", 313, 22 years old, out of Ohio State. Physicals, really good. Don't ask him to jump. Not sure why he would need to, but besides that, really good. B awareness, A impact, or not A impact, A lead and run block power, C pass block finesse, C stamina. So definitely looks like a power blocker for us. Can't say if he's a balanced guy, but round 2 to 3 could very well fit with how much work we need to do over on defense in the first round. The other center available to us is Brian Gonzalez, or not really available to us, but on our board. He's 6'5", 318, 21 years old, out of Georgia. And again, very well balanced, and he could jump a little bit more than Wilds can. From the skill set here, B awareness, but has A impact, A pass block, and A run block power with C pass block power. So again, looking like a power blocker for us. These are two solid options for us in rounds 2 to 3, which I feel would be where we could go for an offensive lineman after we deal with defense. Over at the right guard spot, there is Jason Lucas, who is a 6'4", 335, 22-year-old right guard out of Oklahoma. He was projected round 1, actually looks more like a 2 to 3. His physicals, though, aren't that bad. Again, just don't ask him to jump. Skill set, we have B awareness, B pass block power, B run block finesse, and run block power. Does have D pass block and C pass block finesse. Also has A impact. I don't know if I said that earlier, but I think that D pass block is what is really hurting him and where he could get drafted. I don't think I would want a starter on my offensive line with such a low pass block rating. The other ratings are pretty good, but D pass block, I feel like that would be a liability, especially in today's NFL. And over at right tackle, there is Marcel Clark, who's 6'5", 320, 23 years old out of Wisconsin. His physicals, pretty solid. And by solid, I mean like good. Like, you could work with these for sure. Skill set, B awareness, B lead block, B pass block finesse. Does have C run block, has A impact block. So, again, kind of similar to the last guy where there's some really good ratings, but the C pass block, a little worrying. Now looking elsewhere besides definite needs, just places I would like to get better, my number 2 tight end I would like to improve. Currently we have Lucas, who is a really good run blocker, but his speed has been a liability in the passing game, and we've seen interceptions come from that. So I'm looking at a few guys. There is Sean Bradshaw and Michael Tyson in the round 1 to 2. They're insane. They could definitely be a day 1 starter at tight end, but we don't need a starter. We have Flanagan. We just need someone who could spell him out every now and then and not cause issues. So I'm looking at a couple guys here. Jason Capers, round 3 to 4, 6'4", 248, 23 years old out of Auburn. And with him, he has good speed, some agility, and jumping. The rest of it, a little suspect, but definitely has some intriguing ability. And with him, B, medium route running, B, run block, A, run block finesse, which I really don't ever see that. Don't know much about the catching or anything else. Does have C awareness, F stiff arm if it matters, but I think as a number 2 guy, he could run block, he could run medium routes, is a solid guy to look at for us. That's the kind of tight end that I would look for. Do we spend an earlier round pick on him, around 3 to 4? I don't think so, but still a very intriguing guy. In the day 3 category, which is more along the lines of where I would be looking to possibly draft a tight end, is Easton Wells, 6'4", 268, 23 years old, out of Maryland. For his physicals, really good just across the board. Not great in terms of acceleration, but he actually has great to elite speed, which is a lot more than you could say for than Lucas. Now with him, you have A, short route running, B, awareness, B, break tackle, B, catching, B, injury. Don't know much about blocking, but he does have some strength. I think we could take a shot at him if and when he's available in the 3rd round. We would definitely love to take a look. Tight end is something I would like to upgrade at that 2nd spot, whether it's in the draft or in free agency. I just want to look at that spot. Quarterbacks, I only have 1 on here. I had guys earlier that I ended up taking off that we were looking for starters. We now have Robinson, and we're going to give him a couple of years at least to show to us that he is a true starter. Brett Bishop, it would be a backup, 6'3", 243, 22 years old, out of South Carolina. Physicals, he has great throw power, great strength, doesn't have much speed, so you're not going to look for him to run. He does have B, throw accuracy deep, which is primarily why I put him on the list. We're looking at possible backup quarterback. Not sure if we're going to re-sign Mund. Would probably, because I feel like he's developed well and he knows the system, but just in case, we have a guy on here. At running back, there are a fair few amount of guys, 5 to be specific, and I'm looking for a a power guy who has some speed and agility, you know? That's kind of the archetype of Minnesota Viking running backs. So there's a couple 1 to 2 round guys I wouldn't consider going anything above a 3 to 4. So we'll start here and kind of go from there. Demarius Jarrett, 6 foot, 233, 22 years old, out of Beth Cookman. He has speed, he has strength. You look at the skills, and not a whole lot to really go off of. Basically, he's on the board because I know he has strength and speed. He also has B carrying, which is good. F short route running, and spec catch tells me he's not a receiving running back, which I'm not looking for. That's kind of why he's on here. Then there is Christine Valentine, day 3, 6 foot, 226, 23 years old, out of Virginia. And again, has speed, has strength. When you look at his skills, A trucking. And that is the only primary reason that he is on here. He has A trucking, day 3 guy. I would spend a pick on it. And lastly, there is Kamani Peterson, 6 foot, 230, 23 years old, out of Northern Iowa. From his physical standpoint, has some speed, definitely has some strength. His skills, honestly, are pretty good just around the board here. B break tackle, B carrying, B spin move, and B stamina. Don't know the trucking or anything, but I would assume would be pretty high considering his weight and strength. So solid, don't care about the F catching. I don't pass the ball to running backs that often. He would just be a power back, and I think could do the job very well. Day 3, worth a pick. Now the receivers in this draft are also really good, and they go fairly deep, as I have guys from round 1 to round 4 on the board. I don't think I would spend a pick on a receiver in this draft. I'm just taking a look at them because they look really good. But we have our top 3. They're going to be here for a while. We also have some young talent, 21, 22-year-old guys like Dyson, who I think could definitely progress into one of those starting spots. Don't see myself going for a receiver, but they're on the board if they fall. There are also some linebackers I was taking a look at. Some are pass rushers, some are actual linebackers. Won't go too much into them as we want to get to that game, but just letting you know, taking a look at some of these guys, and there's honestly not a whole lot of top-end talent. Nazir Reed, they say round 1, he is maybe just a run stopper. No pass block, or no coverage ability whatsoever. Right outside linebacker, just one guy. Again, nothing too special at linebacker. Safeties, we don't need any starters. We have young starters, but we could use some backups. Have a couple guys on here. And then kicker, the only one who looked like he might be worth anything is Ronnie Wallace. He is 5'9", 189, 22 years old, out of Texas A&M. And from the physicals, you mainly just look at this to see how far he could kick it. Kick power is decent to solid, so not that great. But he does have A accuracy, and there was no one else in the draft class that had, I think, anything above a C for accuracy. So, if anything, Ronnie Wallace, we'll see what we end up doing at kicker in the offseason, considering all the misses we're starting to see from Koo. But that is the little run through here of the prospects. Definitely looking in the first round to go defense, whether that is a edge and a DT or a utility D lineman and a corner. It depends on what happens in the free agency and the regression, but we're going defense round 1 for sure. Would then like to go in round 2, maybe 2 and 3 with offensive linemen, and then kind of just fill out the roster from there. But definitely some really good talent at the top. Really looking forward to getting to that offseason. Hopefully after a good run here, we've won back-to-back Super Bowls. Can we make it 3? Make it a 3-peat? We'll find out. But that all starts here in our game versus the Detroit Lions. the beautiful US Bank Stadium where we are hosting the Detroit Lions. Pretty sure it's our second matchup of the year. They are the only NFC North team who has yet to defeat us in this series. Gonna knock on wood, and they'll be led out here by their new starting quarterback in Reed. Not off to a great start, I would say. 8 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, reminds me a bit of Saunders. But of course, we've moved on from Saunders, trading him a couple episodes ago. And we brought in a new quarterback in Robinson, who's played pretty well for us. First down, though, gain of 3. Swift goes to the outside, cut down by Harrison Smith. And of course, I hope you guys enjoyed the look through at the next draft class. What players we will be trying to target and what positions we would like to just get better at in general. Just a set behind there for Kendricks. Not going to get that pass breakup. And that was a first down to St. Brown for the Lions. They have a pretty good receiving core out there, especially when you count in Hendrickson as well. Hendricks? Their tight end is pretty good. Hawkinson. That's what it is, right? Yeah, he just got his 5th-year option picked up, I believe. At least in real life. That's what I'm referring to. Recording this a little bit earlier in the day of the second day of the NFL draft. So after the Vikings made a very interesting decision to trade with the Lions early in the first round, we gave up our 12th pick overall and our, I want to say it was like 46, I think is where we're picking at in the second round, to drop down to 32 and then up to 34. Not quite sure that was worth it. We also, I think, picked up a 3rd or 4th round pick or something as well. So we'll see what we end up doing with it. First draft with the new regime in IRL, Minnesota. In this draft, in this series draft that would be equivalent, I know we got Saunders first round, and in real life there was only one quarterback taken round 1. That was to Pittsburgh, out of Pittsburgh. And a flag comes down here on the 3rd and 2 conversion. That's going to back them up to another 3rd and 2. So we will basically just replay that down here. But yeah, interesting that only one quarterback was taken. We'll see how quickly they go in the second round tonight. As I'm saying this, you would have already known, so hope you enjoyed it. If you even watched the draft. Do you like watching the draft? I enjoy kind of having it on in the background, paying a little bit of attention to it, mainly just whenever the pick is announced. As they go underneath, hit there from Kendricks on Swift. Swift still holds on to it, though, gain of 4 on the first down pass. Bring up 2nd and 6 from the 24. Now slide over our D-line, run some man coverage, and they definitely could have went for Hawkinson. Instead, they're going to go a little bit shallow. I think that's St. Brown again, down to the 9. Kind of feel like the Lions here are picking up where the Jaguars left off. I feel like the Jaguars were able to drive pretty well. They just struggled to finish a drive, although Detroit in a good position to do so here, down to the 3, 2nd and goal. And our front 7 on defense is something we're definitely looking to work on come the offseason. Not necessarily that we're bad at those spots. Don't know why I talk so loud there. Good job by Denzel Ward. Defeats the blocker and gets a tackle all at the same time. Loss of 4, I think, on that run. 3rd and goal from the 7 coming up. But yeah, don't want to make changes to the front 7 because we're bad, but just because we're getting, to be honest, fairly old at the spot. As they have a few guys open. Watt finally there to get the sack. He's finally coming on a bit later into this season. Had a very slow start. Didn't really see much from him for the first few weeks. With that sack, will force a field goal attempt, kicking just in front of the 25, so about a 35-yard field goal, and that's going to go right down the middle. Detroit will take the lead here, 3-0, pretty early on. And Robinson will lead our offense out onto the field. So far, starting off pretty well, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, much better ratio than what we saw with Saunders. Only 349 in terms of yards, and that's over the course of 2 games. Of course, we've been pretty reserved with Robinson the first couple games as he's gotten used to his new playbook, new scheme, new coaches, new receivers. I mean, just everything in general. We're going to dump it off here to Flanagan, who I wish stayed up and tried to get a few more yards. Gain of first on our first play. Or I think I said gain of first. Gain of 4. It was not a gain of a first down. We go for a run on second. You're going to get about 2 to 3 yards. And on 3rd and 3, I would have went with the jet sweep here. However, they brought down their safety. We'll check out of that. Go to the slant routes. They do a good job covering it. We're just going to try to roll out. We have an open Chark who had a great game last week. Not able to break away from Aruwarie. I think that's how you pronounce it. However, first down, though, down to the 41. 2 seconds left in the first. And check that, no seconds left in the first. We're going to head into the second quarter here, currently down 3-0. Yeah, definitely enjoying, as we start the second quarter here, definitely enjoying the play of Robinson. I feel like what he does best is how I play with my quarterback, so definitely feeling like there's a much more comfortable fit with him here. Saunders, I hope he does well at his new team. Moved him on to... was it the Rams? I believe it was the Rams who just did not have a quarterback. But besides that, good team. Chark, not able to hold on to that one in the end zone. It was a good pass from Robinson. Put it only where Chark could get it. Robinson does kind of have a little bit of an awkward throwing motion. Not going to get the first down there. 29 comes down, meets Cook. Going to bring up a 4th and 1. And on 4th and 1, we will go for it here. We could kick the field goal, tie it, but we're at home in front of our fans. We're going to hand the ball off to Kelly down the middle. Good blocking from Thurston and the rest of our offensive line, and we're down now to the 23. Now, I feel a little bad that Thurston really doesn't have much in terms of a role, as I was trying to make a change to, well, it ends up working for us here. Flanagan gets the reception. I wanted to bring him on a delayed drag, but it didn't register me hitting Y, instead just hitting A, and we get the first down. Going to hand the ball off here. Thurston, decent job blocking up front. Kelly down to the 4. Continue to stay out here in our heavy set. We go for the pass here. Not liking what I see. We had Thurston open, just didn't get over there in time. Okwara in with the sack. 3rd and goal from the 12. And from 3rd and goal here, going to adjust Flanagan's route to be a little deeper, go towards that back pylon. Have Dalvin block before release here. And that's going to be an iffy one, and was picked off way later. We had the one-on-one. The corner did a nice job breaking it up. I was hoping Flanagan would jump in front of it. Not going to put that one on the quarterback. That was a one-on-one pass. Ball just happened to tip up and eventually picked off. I'm assuming that's Levi Wallace. Since Robinson is fairly new, I won't blame the one-on-ones with him. Honestly, it was a pretty decently well-placed pass. It was where either party could have gotten it, just our party didn't. They're going to get a pass there to Smith-Schuster. Definitely was hoping the D-line would get there a lot earlier than when they actually did. I'm going to go send the blitz, and for some reason Kendricks hesitates. Swift gave a little shimmy, gets the first. And of course, we talked a bit about the corners that are available come this draft, and looking pretty good. A very good defensive class just throughout. Linebackers a little lacking. But we have some guys out there who are performing pretty well. Kendricks and Harrison Smith. Smith will probably end up retiring come the end of this season. But I believe we'll have a couple more, maybe a year, 2, with Kendricks before he retires. And we are trying to progress Alex Brooks to take over Harrison Smith's spot, which he might end up doing in the second half of this season, just to get a little bit more progression out there, as he's fairly close in overall to Harrison Smith. And if we shouldn't, but if we end up collapsing and don't get to the playoffs, then obviously Brooks would be finishing out the year. But when we get to the playoffs, which we should, I would then put Harrison Smith back out there to wrap out his career. say wrap out his career. That doesn't make sense. To finish out his career. But we come out here with some man coverage. They're going to get it. Keenan not able to stay with St. Brown. St. Brown looking shifty and definitely has progressed here for the Detroit Lions and really taken on I don't want to say a star role, but definitely one of the important roles on their offense. Again, they check underneath. Drag route 89 picks it up. We missed the tackle. Big hit from Harrison Smith. Technically would have been a fumble if he didn't, land out of bounds with it. But Friedman, first down to the 14. Defense struggling a little bit here in this game, and this is a game we need to win. It is a close race between us and the Lions. And they're going to say Hawkinson stretches and is in. They're going up 10-0 about a minute before halftime. But as I was trying to say before we gave up that score, big game here. Whoever wins this will definitely take charge of the NFC North. It's a close race just throughout. And we're going to take a sack here. I thought Jefferson would keep coming, but definitely didn't. Going to try to run a little bit of hurry up here, as they drop into a coverage that I don't like for the play call we had chosen. Said we'll switch out here. Just go for a forward verts. Try to see who breaks open. No one does, and we're going to get sacked again. And now they're calling the timeouts. Really bad possession here. We're going to come out in the Wildcat. Cook at quarterback. He's going to toss this one here to Nwangwu. We're just going to try to utilize that speed that Nwangwu has. Try to get by 24. He just happens to do so. Go for his legs, and I don't think anyone's going to catch Nwangwu. He's down at the 5-10. I switched it again. 10-5 touchdown. Nwangwu's speed saving us many times this season. Because we know how troubling these have been, Koo out to kick the extra point here, and he'll hit it. It will narrow our deficit 10-7 with, I want to say, like 14 seconds left before the end of the second half here, or end of the first half, second quarter. And I don't know, I'm definitely starting to think that Nwangwu is deserving of that contract extension. He's been a great threat for us, just around returns. He's done pretty well. Good tackle there from Alex Brooks, as it looks like we'll probably be heading into halftime here. And that we are, and I'm not going to skip it this time. We will go through halftime. I accidentally skipped it last game. We'll take a look around the league, see what else is happening, but I think news coming soon will be an extension on Nwangwu's contract. And as they head into the locker room here, we see close game passing, definitely leading the way. We only have 26 yards. Fortunately, with the Wildcat, it doesn't go down as rushing yards. Taking a look around the league, Colts up 17-7 against the Bears. Definitely would like to see the Colts win this one. Bears aren't doing too bad this year. Not great, but not too bad. Atlanta, New Orleans. Atlanta losing 21-7. 41 seconds left in that first half. Fletcher for the Saints not having an awful game. And the Chiefs and the Jaguars. That game close, 13-7, 44 seconds left. Jaguars, of course, we beat last week. 3-6 on the year for them, 5-3 for the Chiefs. And we will be receiving the second half kickoff here. And you know what I'm going to say, great opportunity. Go down the field, tie the game at least, or take the lead would be great. And in that first half, we only had, I think it said 26 rushing yards. So definitely want to get back to the running game here. Try to follow our blockers. Pretty good job. Smith down to the second level, and Cook gets 8. Now, I will say the Detroit defense has been built pretty well. They give up more passing yards, or more rushing yards than they do passing. As we get some nice blocking. First time I feel like that play's really ever worked. 5 rushes on the day, 30 yards for Cook. But yeah, definitely want to attack the rushing game. Help us try to open up the passing game, as we could definitely go for a possible deep throw to Jefferson at some point. But for now, continue doing what works. Try to stay away, not stick to, but stay away from the sacks. The Lions, I think, got 2 or 3 sacks towards the end of that, or by the end of that second quarter for sure. We're going to go for a pass here. And that one, well out of bounds, too far away from Leach. And that'll bring us to a 3rd and 5. Wasn't going to go for a draw here, but the Lions come out in the double A gap. So let's just make an adjustment here. And go for a drag, why not? Don't like what we see there. Going to step up, we get the block. Robinson holds on to it, down to the 35. 17-yard rush. Of course, don't want to forget Robinson is a good runner. He has some agility out there as well. Pretty good juke move, if I remember correctly. And Nwangwu gets his first official handoff, 9 yards on the carry. We'll stay out in that same formation here. Jefferson over at the right-hand side, switched with Chark. For some reason, they do that whenever you bring in the second running back. And possible... Nope. They say didn't hold on to it. Or didn't drag his feet. Definitely looked like it could be cause for review. Not going to push our luck here. Using Nwangwu's speed really helps out a lot. I think that was 29 again who read the play very well, but Nwangwu able to use his speed, find a gap, and get the first plus some. Once again, I would like to go for Flanagan towards the pylon. This one would... Well, if I didn't mess up the play design there. Instead, I guess we'll just check this to a run since I messed that one up. We'll try again next play. Cook runs over a guy, stretches for it, and is close to the first down to the 8. And they were going to give it to him, too. 1st and goal at the 8. We'll give this another try here. Flanagan towards the back pylon. Going to switch Chark to try to get him down a little bit earlier to really see where that corner's going. We're going for that corner. Touchdown! Flanagan gets the second foot in, holds on to it as well. Not able to break that one up, I think, as a linebacker, maybe safety. Flanagan into the end zone. Robinson with another passing touchdown. And honestly, I'm not too sure if Flanagan got that second foot in. This might be reviewed. And indeed, it is. I don't think he got that second foot down. In real time, it looked like he did, which is why obviously the refs called it a touchdown, but I think that second foot comes down just out of bounds. As it bounced off of his leg, and then you saw it smacks down in the white. They're going to call it good, though. So I guess because that knee went down with that same foot? I don't know. Confusing to me, but I will take the touchdown. Going to put us up top with this extra point. Yes, we'll put us up for 14-10. 3 minutes and 3 seconds remaining in the third. And the defense will take the field with the first lead that they've had in this game. Lions come out in a tight ace formation. So they go for a quick pass to their tight end, number 84. Gets it and gets the first. Definitely wish there was a way to have your players play tighter coverage. You know, you could tell them to play press, play down all you want, but that doesn't really mean much. Swift breaks the tackle, and he's going to get the first and some, I think, 14 yards on what should have been a loss of 4. And those are the type of plays that could cost you at the end of the game where you should have had a loss of yardage, but instead they get the first and more. Big hit there from Ward. Hawkinson didn't even see him coming. Denzel lays him out. And that is kind of the play that I would assume we're going to get from our first-round pick in Lewis Cine, as he does play a very heavy style of safety, very similar to Harrison Smith. Really likes to lay the hit. He might miss some tackles here and there from that. Possibly could get injured as he's going up against some bigger guys now. But there is some talent that I've seen from Cine, and hopefully we get to see it. Lions, though, now down to the 19. Just about a minute remaining in the third. Can try to get out here with Smith. And I'll say one thing, the user receivers actually attack the pass. So many times for the user, you'll throw a pass, like especially like a curl, expecting them to try to catch the ball, and they just stand there, wait for it to come to them, and then it gets picked. And a touchdown saving trip, Swift down at the 4. Looked like he was breaking away pretty easily, but then out of nowhere, boop, trip, fall. He's down at the 4, and this quarter is a wrap. We're going to head into the fourth quarter, only up 4, 14-10. And to start the fourth quarter at the 4-yard line, we'll come out with a double A-gap blitz, as it looks like they are set to pass. We should have an open guy. Well, we both had open guys. We had an open rusher. They had an open Hawkinson. He's in for, what is it, second touchdown of the day, I think? He's at least made a lot of plays today. And that puts Detroit up 17-14. The Vikings offense will take the field following a touchback, start at the 25. And we're going to go back to the run game. Seemed to work well for us last drive. Going to get a gain about 4-5 on the first down carry. We are out in a heavy tight end set. Not necessarily do I think that aids us. We'll switch the play here a little bit. And I would like delayed fade route here from Starks, who does have some speed. And we could have went for it, but there was a safety over the top instead. We'll go with Robinson, who's going to get another huge chunk, 20 yards on that run. Not trying to run too much with Robinson, but when it presents itself like that, with his speed, you've got to utilize it. Cook down the middle, runs through one guy, stumbles forward for a gain of about 15. Trying to take the possession of this game, make this our game. Try to have the Lions fight for it, really. We're going to toss this one out. No one was open. We're forced to roll out. Didn't work too well. We'll stay out, however, in that same formation. Go for a run on 2nd and 10. And we got sucked into that animation. Not sure who that was, but 98 just sucks us in like a Dyson and gets the tackle. And for those asking, was that a vacuum joke? Yes. Yes, it was. And on 3rd and 6 here, they do a good job covering just about everybody. However, they don't catch Jefferson or follow him, and should have been a touchdown. Instead, down to the 1 as he falls down and is marked down. I think he might have went out of bounds, but nice late find and accurate pass from Robinson. And yeah, it looks like he did just step out. Very close to a touchdown though. And to give Thurston a little love, we'll go for a fullback dive here. Doesn't see the ball all too often, so if he could have an easy touchdown like that, why not give it to him? Thurston in, gonna retake the lead for the Vikings. And with the extra point here, would give us a 4-point lead. They would need a touchdown to take the lead, and that's what they're gonna need. 4 minutes, 49 seconds left. The Lions need a touchdown to get back in front. And our defense has struggled a bit today, not playing very consistently, giving up chunk plays here and there, but also just very consistent plays as well. As they're going to dump off here again, no one covering underneath. Very bad angle by, I think that was Ward. But I think the biggest stat to look at here is the fact that Reed, the Lions quarterback, has not missed a single pass today. No incompletions. Nice run stop there. Yeah, there's been no incompletions forced. I mean, he's just been playing pitch and catch with his receivers all day. And there's going to be the first incompletion. Just good coverage downfield. Pressure kind of started to get there and just went in. It was just inaccurate altogether. 4th and inches. We'll probably see them go for it. However, looks like they're coming out in punt formation. You would think you would go for it. 4th and inches, I get it. It's on the 35. We're going to call fair catch here to avoid any fumbles. And we'll start at the 15. And here is where we can put the game away. Going to bring Kelly out here. Some fresh legs. He has had, I think, 1 or 2 carries today. And he runs through a D lineman of the Lions. Gets a good chunk on first down. And Thurston, although he's a utility fullback, I will say he's been blocking very well for us. We'll follow behind him. Not a great block by Smith. He got down to the 2nd level, but then quickly shed by the linebacker who gets a stop. 3rd and 2. We'll send Thurston in motion. Cook back out there. Going to follow behind, and again, pretty good linebacker play for the Lions, but I think we'll get the edge there, and we do. Gives us the first down. We're chewing the clock, getting close to that 2-minute warning. As that clock continues to roll here, we're going to roll out. Some play action here. Follow behind our guys. We're going to go for Lucas, who doesn't hold on to it, and that speed doesn't help him break away, and that's kind of why we're looking to replace him, at least in a receiving role. I would prefer him to be out there as a third tight end, a blocking tight end, which is why we are looking to possibly upgrade. So close to getting the block we needed. I think that was Hand gets the tackle. And here's the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes left. We're up 4 points, 21-17, and it's 3rd and 8. And on 3rd and 8, we'll go back to our trusty slant routes here. And we didn't draw them off. It sure looked like we did. We're going to have Leach breaking open. Trying to go down the sideline. He has speed. I don't know if anyone's going to get there. 10-5. We're in. A little hippity hop into the end zone. Going to widen our lead here. Leach has been a great slot receiver for us. Killer on some of those crossing routes, just because he's able to break away, especially when you get into the jumbled mess across the middle. Really come in handy. Really proud of that trade. Definitely has filled the shoes of Adam Thielen. And the Lions will take the field on offense, down 11. A minute 50 seconds remaining. They have timeouts. They have playmakers. And they find one of them right here, 89 to the sideline, down to the 49. Believe that, I can't remember his name. But good play. Definitely beat the man coverage. And that'll get them down to about midfield. We'll switch up, go a little bit of zone here. So that way we don't have our linebackers getting burned by slim slot corners or slot receivers. That one forced out of bounds, only the second incompletion of the day. Reed has been very accurate, but mostly just finding what we give him. Hasn't had to force any passes, just gone for the open guy. Try to sit underneath, and they are going to find Hawkinson. Gets out at the 23, a minute 33 left. Really just not getting pressure today. We've gotten it here and there, but just consistently, no. And they're going to go for another screen pass to the outside. Keenan not able to get him. Bradbury not able to get him, but he does go out of bounds at the 15. For the most part, I feel like the only time we've really gotten much pressure is when we brought blitzes. But just out the get-go, not much. Is this one? Very close to another Hawkinson touchdown. Down to the 2. They're going to run hurry up. We're going to switch to a man coverage. Just kidding. Just kidding again. And Reed just didn't have his heads up, and that is going to be another Hawkinson touchdown, bringing this game back close. Minute 7 remaining, and it's a 5-point game. Extra point would make it a 4. However, they're going for a 3-point differential, going for it here. 2-point conversion, and they're going to find it. No one in that opening. They brought it back to a field goal game. This one getting close late. And obviously they're going to be going for the onside here. We're lined up with our hands team. Going straight to Leach, who uses his body as a decoy. Chark picks it up, and he fumbles. And Nwangwu there to get the tackle. This game changing momentum late. Now we need our defense to do something they haven't done all game, and that's get a stop. And Chark, who had such a good game last week, huge mistake there. Could cost us. We get Hunter off the edge, but they get the pass out too. Swift there, flagged down. That's going to be holding, going to back them up. Going to fall on Hawkinson too. Definitely going to need that penalty to back him up. Now down to the 46. We just need to keep them out of field goal range. They have 3 timeouts, however. 58 seconds remaining. And they're going to miss a pass. They had Swift, who had beaten Harrison Smith, just speed alone. And they need to get to about the 43 for Elliott. Trying to be smart here with coverage, but also trying to bring a little bit of some extra pressure. And they're going to get the ball out to 80, and he fumbles. He might have been down, but in the meantime, Henley picks that one up. He's going to scoot forward for a little bit. This is going to come down to a booth review. I'm not sure if he was down or not. And there is the booth review. It does look like he was down before the ball came out, however, at least in the replay that I saw. You don't see it here, but it looks like that knee, that right knee hits, as well as the arm, and the ball doesn't come out until well later. This is going to get them down close to field goal range. And indeed, they overturn it 3rd and 5. And it did not let me choose a play. I don't even know what play I'm running here. As they're going to find Swift, not able to get out there to stop the pass with Kendricks. Close to a first down, 4th and inches. 37 would be somewhere close to about a 50-yard field goal attempt from here. They'll be kicking from about the 45, so about a 55-yard field goal. And that is up. It's looking true. And it is. This game is tied 28-28. They really came back 11 points with a minute and 30 seconds? And we will come out here. We have time for one play. And Nwangwu's done it for us before. Can he do it for us again? We're going to need good blocking. And we don't get it with Flanagan. We will be heading into OT against the Lions. And the captains will head out for the coin flip. Lions did win, and they will receive. So our defense needs to make a stop. And may I remind you once again, this is for the lead in the NFC North. Whoever wins this game will get that #1 spot. For us, if we win, we will have, I think, a 2-game advantage over the Lions. If they win, we'll have the same record, but I think they would get the tiebreaker because they won this game. And not only is this a battle to take first place for the NFC North, but the Lions are also the only team in the NFC North who have yet to defeat us, knock on wood again. We lost earlier this year to the Bears for the first time, and in previous seasons we have lost to the Packers. We've also swept the NFC North. Hawkinson lowers his shoulder and runs through a man. Not even sure who that was, but he got destroyed. And that'll bring up a 3rd and short, 3rd and 3. And try to bring down the safeties here. As they go for a run. We're there with Graves. Swift fights for it, just shoves Graves off, but we do get him down in time, 4th and 1. And the Lions bring out the punt team. Once again, they were in this situation earlier in the game and punted, and it looks like they're doing that here. A field goal is all we need to walk, or not to walk this game off, but to at least win this game. And this is, I feel like, the first big spot here for Robinson to prove what kind of quarterback he is. We go for a run on first down, get a gain of a few. And on 2nd and 6, stay on that same formation, but we're going to try to use Nwangwu's speed. Motion him out to the outside. See if he could beat the corner. Instead, we're going to go down here to Flanagan, who's going to give us a few yards. Not the big chunk, but good enough. No need to be risky here. Going to go for another run here. 3rd and short. Just follow behind our blockers, take the first open gap, get the first down, and we'll take this to inside 2 minutes. We'll come out here, spread 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Look for Flanagan across the middle here. They do a good job covering him. Go for the sideline. Nice catch there from Jefferson. Pass came in with literally no time to spare. If that was a split second later, could have very well been picked. Go for a run on this down. Try to get to the outside. And once again, Cook just refuses to juke to the side that I tell him to. Really wanted him to juke to the inside, get the first down, and then he could be tackled. But instead, he jukes backwards, basically. However, we'll get it here on 2nd and 1. We bring in Kelly, and this clock is getting close to the end here. However, we just need a field goal. A touchdown would be nice, but a field goal is all that is needed. We're going to try to dump this one off, and a bad pass. tried to get that to Cook. Cook cut one way, the pass went the other. Now it's in the hands of the Lions. Really unfortunate. We had this game sealed with under 2 minutes. We were up by 11 points. And Swift for the Lions, slow to get up, looking like he's in a bit of pain here. That will stop the clock. And Swift and the training staff gingerly walk into the locker room. He will definitely not be back in this game, could be out for a while. And that might be field goal range for the Lions. They will continue to let this clock roll. We've seen them hit the field goal from here to send it into overtime. And we get a quick tackle. I'm going to call a timeout because we would like the ball back, but not sure we're going to have that opportunity. We would need a forced fumble, interception. Big hit there from Brooks, but no forced fumble. I'm going to bring up 3rd and 9 from the 34. So definitely inside field goal range. We need a big play. And not going to get it. Easy field goal attempt coming up here for the Lions. We would need a block here to even make it something. And we do! We do block it! Reed picks it up. 6 seconds remaining. We at least will not lose this game. Huge block. That was Wilson coming off the edge. Whew! My heartbeat is going. And with 6 seconds remaining, not really a whole lot you can do here besides chuck it up. We'll see what presents itself. And we're going to go deep. Chark gets the catch, bopped up, and then falls incomplete. We're going to leave this game tied. The first tie in this series. And we had this game won with under 2 minutes to play. And we'll head into the locker room. Neither team victorious. We had the rushing on our side. They had the passing. At the end of the day, the takeaways cost us. Not able to stop them, really, even on defense. And it's not a good game. Definitely the worst game we've seen from Robinson. Some inaccuracies, interceptions. And it'll cost us. And after that game, we have a few upgrades, so there's a positive twist to it. Dalton Smith now goes up to an 80 with a +1 to lead block and strength and a +2 to run block power. These are what his current ratings are looking like. Definitely more of a pass blocker than he is a run blocker, but he gets help from the guards, so it's fine. And we have an upgrade for Nick Robinson, who after that game I feel like could definitely use it. We will be upgrading Improviser. He'll go up to a 76 with a +1 to throw accuracy deep and short, throw on the run, and throw under pressure. And once again, these are his ratings if you didn't see what they were in the trade. He has really good short accuracy, pretty good accuracy deep, need to work on that medium, which is where we saw the inaccuracy today. And of course, we were trying to get an upgrade for Chark, and we're not going to get it. Instead, he will continue to stay at his current dev trait instead of getting that boost. And we'll see what that ends up doing for the standings. We should keep in first as we didn't lose the game. So we still have one better rating in the loss column than the Lions, but definitely not what we were hoping for. And in the next episode, we will be facing off against the 4-5 Tennessee Titans. And a couple things that we'll need to do. Obviously, the focus scouting. Then we'll take a look after that, after we sim over to the next week, see what they end up looking like, if we get any good information on some guys. I'm thinking we're primarily just going to look at the defensive linemen to really try to solidify who we will go after. Obviously, we know everything about the corners, so not much to learn there, but really want to learn more about the defensive line. And there were a lot of good guys, so we will do that. And Would love another win in the win column, especially now that we have that weird three tally in the, not three tally, but like 3 marks in the win-loss and tie. First time we've tied a game in this series. And unfortunately, it's because we blew it late. We were up by 11, under 2 minutes. Congratulations, though, to the Lions. Hell of a way to fight back. But we had time and opportunity on our side, and we just didn't get the job done. Fortunately, that happens sometimes. We'll look to bounce back again in Week 11, and it looks like we have a Packers game coming up soon. Looks like Week 14, so make sure you guys are sticking around to see how the rest of this season wraps up. And also be sure to check out the other series we have going with the California-only building challenge. It's really fun. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have watched it, if not, then like I said, check it out. But yeah, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.